And welcome. Hallo aus Deutschland. I am coming to you live from Germany, from Frankfurt, Germany, and I am so excited to be here. I'm also live on Instagram, so you can catch me every Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, and it's 9 p.m. here in Germany. You can catch me live 12 p.m. Pacific time for my Soul Currency live show. Today is a topic we are going to be discussing that I'm super passionate about, and it's such an important part of inner work. So today we're going to be talking about activating your inner guide, your inner knowing, and being able to trust and rely upon the messages that you receive. Also really activating and tuning in to the inside when you are seeking clarity and confidence in your decision-making process. So first of all, thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for jumping on this beautiful Monday Soul Currency Live show. My name is Heather Fantin. I'm your spiritual breakthrough coach, and you can find out more about what I do at heatherfantin.com. That is HEATHER, and my last name is spelled FANTIN.com. So check me out on Facebook, check me out on Instagram, and or go to my website and find out more about what I do. And so today, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about activating higher self and really activating intuition. So I would love to hear from you if you are here live with me, and just find out what your relationship to that is. And I wrote a message this morning to the people on my mailing list, and I asked them some questions. For instance, do you have a hard time making decisions? Do you rely on other people to help you to understand what you should do next? Are you seeking answers outside of you? So that's one of the signs that you are disconnected from your inner voice. So you're disconnected from that sense of feeling and intuition. If you find yourself in relationships or situations where, hey, Niv, where you end up looking back and going, you know what? I knew better. There were signs along the way. I knew better. Has anyone been in that kind of situation where they look back and they realize that there were signs? Hello from New Zealand. Hey, Niv. Hello, I'm coming to you live from Germany. So who knows that feeling? Who knows that feeling of being in a situation or circumstance? Maybe it was even taking a job where something like your gut said, this is not going to be good for you. When you go against those feelings, when you go against that voice of intuition inside of you, what usually ends up happening? What usually ends up happening is that things don't go very well. They're not going to serve us, right? So just know that, there is a way to begin to deepen that relationship with your higher self, with your inner wisdom, with your inner guide, to be able to rely on that voice of wisdom within you. And so I just wanted to come to you live today and talk to you about this topic because, first of all, it is one of the most important pieces of inner work, and it is also going to be one of the two really core pieces of inner work we're going to be doing at my upcoming Soul on Fire workshop on Saturday, March 17th. And so when we learn how to get quiet, to tune in and to listen to the whispers of our soul, when we learn to rely on the answers that we are seeking from inside, then life becomes so much more magical. And I started listening to this voice a long time ago, and it was something that awoke in me. I shared a very personal story on my newsletter this morning, and to those of you who are on my newsletter, you know what that story is. And if you'd like to hear what that moment of awakening was for me, please go to my website and sign up for my mailing list. It's just heatherfantin.com/join the tribe. And so, you know what? It was a profound moment. It was a very dark moment for me, and it was in that moment when I had just this blast, this opening of intuition, this inner knowing, this inner voice that told me to wake up, that I was starring in the wrong movie, that it was time to radically change my life. It was time to heal. And that inner voice, that inner knowing guided me on a miraculous journey, on an adventure that I could not have even possibly thought of and planned. by my own self, in my own level of consciousness that I had at the time. It took me on a journey around the world for 15 years. And I went deep into myself, into healing and awakening and transformation and learning how to listen and trust that inner voice, trusting it so much that when I was on a 3-day vacation in Hawaii, and that voice of inner guidance and inner wisdom inside of me said, hey, everybody. Hey, Phyllis. Hi, Tina. Hi, Eileen on Instagram. So when I got to that point of awakening and that voice became very active inside of me and I was in Hawaii, I just knew, and that voice inside of me said, it's time to stay. You have to stay. It's time to heal. Don't go back to Seattle. Your time is done in Seattle. It is time for you to heal. And so I stayed. I had a suitcase that was supposed to be for 4 days, and I stayed for 3 years. And then from that place, when I was just about to turn 21, that same sense of inner knowing and guidance became clear to me that I needed to leave the United States, because it was from that moment on in my awakening that I knew that I had work to do, to first heal myself, body, mind, and spirit, and that I then had work to do to help and serve others so that they could do the same. And in order for me to do that and really achieve this massive vision that I was given of healing humanity when I was so young, I knew that I needed to leave the United States, to get outside of the borders of my own country and understand the human race and understand our differences, understand what unites us. And so I left the United States on a one-way ticket to Europe when I was 21 years old. And I would not have been able to do that had I not been able to tune in and listen to that voice of inner guidance within me. And so I can imagine that there have been things that have come up in your life where you have wanted to do something, you've wanted to take a risk, you've wanted to just try something new, but something has held you back. And that something is the voice of fear. That something is the voice of fear inside of you that's holding you back, that's afraid of what maybe others might think. Maybe you're afraid of failure. Maybe you're like, oh my God, I just couldn't. Maybe you have anxiety to be in a new place. Whatever it is, that fear, that voice of fear is potentially been bigger than the voice of faith inside of you, than the voice of your inner guide inside of you. And so what I want to do is I want to help activate that energy, and I want to get you excited, because anyone can do this. Anyone can do this. It's the same with all transformation, you guys. It's always the same. The same components apply no matter what you're doing, no matter what personal development you're doing, no matter what form of healing you are going through. And, you know, those that are watching that know me, like Niv has been studying with me for the last couple of years. My sister's been with me, so they know what those steps are. They know what the first step always is. The first step to heal anything within yourself, the first step to transform, the first step to move forward in a certain direction in your life is always, what is it, you guys? Write it down for me. It is always, always, always awareness. And so when we have more awareness in this case being the awareness of that voice inside of us, right? And so that voice of awareness inside of us is the voice that is guiding us. It is the loving parent inside of you. And there is a wise adult that is guiding you at all times. Being trained in heart-centered hypnotherapy, absolutely, Niv knows what I'm talking about, is awareness. And so, you know, being trained in heart-centered hypnotherapy, I learned about this idea of the wise adult, that there is a healthy, loving parent. And it's one of the, what we call in hypnotherapy, resource states that we anchor in a hypnotherapy session. Before we go into deep inner work in hypnotherapy, I take you on a guided journey inside. I take you on a guided journey to a safe, loving, healthy place where you feel held, where you feel secure. Joy is here too. Awesome. And my sister knows Joy. Joy was on with Sonia and I this morning when I was talking about the inner child. So, hey, Joy, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, okay, you guys, so, you know, you go in and you become aware of this inner voice inside of you, and you learn to deeply anchor it, deeply anchor that voice. And you do that through very specific practices. Hey, honey, very specific practices. And I'm going to teach you a lot of these practices at the Soul on Fire workshop. And we're going to do an exercise that's going to introduce you to, and maybe you've met her already. If you've been working with me for a while, I've either done this with you one-on-one, or perhaps you've done it in a workshop or a Soul on Fire retreat of mine. And if you already have met this beautiful, wise woman, or this powerful, strong, confident man, this loving, compassionate man. So if you have already met him or her, then you're going to simply deepen that connection. And if you have yet to have gone on a journey, which I absolutely love, guiding people into powerful inner work processes. And so what we're going to do is go on a journey to meet your higher self, to finally see him or her, and to awaken that part in you, awaken that part of you, and open and activate these centers inside of you, these energetic centers inside of you that will help you to access your inner wisdom, that will help you to connect to that voice of the wise adult, that loving, compassionate, all-knowing wisdom inside of you. And if you know others who could benefit from hearing this, if you know others who could benefit from listening to their own intuition, please share this video to your page. Just go ahead and share it right now so that they can join us live as well. And I just want more people to be able to live from this place and stop seeking answers out here. Stop looking outside of you for the answers. All of the love and all of the answers that you seek are waiting within. And so some of the practices that I talk about a lot are very simple. It's practices of meditation as being a foundational practice for your life so that you can be the very best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Bringing your best self to life, for me, includes a practice of mindfulness, meditation, and prayer. It's in that stillness where you find that voice within. It's in that stillness where you can actually hear where you're being guided, and where you find that intuition, where you get insight, where you feel these creative impulses, where you get visions, right? Who can relate to that? And sometimes people get those insights in the shower. Sometimes people get them when they're running. Sometimes people get them when they're meditating. And, so it's whatever activities that you can do that get you lost in the moment. Maybe it's painting. And some people it's driving in their car, and they're driving in the car, and it's a very hypnotic thing, actually. So you're going into a state of hypnosis oftentimes when you're driving, because of the lines on the road that keep passing. It's very hypnotizing. So you're in this hypnotic state. And have you ever been in the car driving, and then you get somewhere and you're like, how in the world did I just get here? It's because you were in more of a hypnotic state. And in that state, which basically just means you're in a more relaxed state, you're in the moment, that you can access your inner wisdom, your intuition. And so it takes just small practices every day. And, I talked about having awareness, but another thing that I talk about all the time, and I'm sure that, most of you guys know this who are here with me and with me a lot, is becoming the most intentional person you know. So everything requires awareness and intention. Awareness and intention, awareness and intention. So having awareness of aspects of yourself that need your love and attention is so important. Setting the intention to become aware, setting the intention to connect to your voice of inner wisdom. So all it takes, you guys, is your willingness. And so, if you are willing and you want to set that intention, I just invite you to set that intention right here, right now, to not only tune into the voice of inner wisdom within you for the big things in your life. What if you were living in a place being so aligned with your soul, your heart open, inner sight open and activated, connected to higher wisdom, truth, and love, and you were living from that place of higher alignment? How might your life look different? How might your choices look different on a day-to-day basis? What might be different for you? Share in the comments below. If you are coming from a place where you are open, your heart is open, and you keep your heart open no matter what, you keep your heart open no matter what. You have active, open inner sight and inner knowing. And that voice of higher wisdom, truth, and love is activated in your life. That you can rise up above the drama, the stress, the chaos, the fighting, the battles between right and left. You can rise up above the density and the drama and the illusion of this world, and you can take that higher perspective. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? And the more that you practices like meditation and becoming intentional, becoming the most intentional person you know, and doing things that you actively drop inside yourself, and you set time aside to do that. You set time aside to be with yourself. And Joy is saying that she's seeking answers outside because I can't find the clarity in my own thought. So Joy, let me know if you can resonate with this, because I hear this from a lot of my clients, is that they have a hard time with stillness because their mind is really active. And when they stop and they slow down and they get quiet, their mind is like, oh my gosh, it's just spinning, spinning, spinning. So who can relate to that? Who can relate to having a very active mind when you stop, slow down, and get still for the first time? Hi, Eileen, gorgeous, beautiful woman. Good to see you. And so who can relate to that? When you slow down and you get quiet, all of a sudden, blah, noise. And it's really hard to sift through all of the noise to get the clarity that you seek. And so what I want to say, Joy, is the more you practice this, the easier it will become. So, every day, just setting time aside, I always tell people to just create mindful moments. We have our ideal practices of, maybe you have a practice like I do of meditation where it's twice a day, 20 minutes. And that is my ideal. That is what I want to be doing. And sometimes life gets in the way. And when life gets in the way, what is my backup practice? What is my practice that I can do regardless of what's going on in life, regardless of how busy it gets? I can have mindful moments. I can mindfully brush my teeth. I can mindfully eat my food. I can take a moment before I go to sleep to put a hand on my heart, to take a deep breath, and to drop back in. And that's a practice I call drop inside. And I teach that to all of my clients because it's what I have them do as the first response to when you're feeling triggered, to when life is taking you down. And when you feel those moments of getting triggered, that's the first thing you do. You stop. Stop yourself from reacting, if at all possible. Set the intention to do this. Take a deep breath, drop in your heart, and drop back inside. And it's just that moment of dropping in and connecting to your breath and connecting to your heart that helps you to calm your nervous system down. And the more you practice meditation, the deeper those roots become. And the less likely you're going to be to get swayed by all of the stress, the less likely you're going to be to get triggered or knocked down or thrown off when something or someone around you triggers or upsets you, because you're anchored more deeply and grounded within yourself, and you're open and active to that place of higher perspective. So I would love to hear from you how this shows up for you, and where do you struggle? Where do you struggle with trusting your inner voice? Like Joy was saying, she's seeking answers outside because she can't find the clarity in her own thought. And so my sister is saying that she would have to rise up above self-judgment and shame. So maybe you can clarify that for me, Rebecca, just a little bit, and I'll talk more to that. And Niv is saying that she can relate, that her mind quiets in the car all the time and doing dishes. Yes, it's so cool. Like, dishes can be so zen if you set that intention. So, and after the first hour of waking up. So many people get up really early because the world is still quiet. It's still. And it's easier to then connect to that place of wisdom and intuition inside of you when the world around you is still. But let me tell you, you can do it in the middle of a busy train station where there are train sounds and noises and people and bustling and hustling. You can absolutely sit in the middle of a noisy train station like I did when I was learning to meditate, and sit down and tune in and meditate and be completely blissed out. And the more you practice this stuff and the more intentional you are about activating your voice of higher wisdom, the easier it will be. And so I want to offer you a couple of different resources today. The first one is to be on my mailing list at heatherfantin.com / join the tribe, so that you have access to my library of inner work processes. So these are guided meditations that take you on an inner journey inside of yourself. And it just, like if you struggle with doing it on your own, this is a really great way to be able to connect, to be able to tune in inside of you. And so I want to invite you to do that. And I would also love to see you at the Soul on Fire workshop coming up on Saturday, May 17th, to activate and open and anchor and deepen that connection of wisdom, truth, and love inside of you, so that you can stop seeking answers and tune in to the answers inside and feel that sense of clarity and confidence in the decisions that you have to make in your life moving forward. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining me, and gentlemen who might be joining me in the replay. And please make sure to share this with other people if you feel they could benefit from tuning in and listening to their own inner voice instead of seeking answers from outside of themselves. And I encourage you to just try some of those practices I talked about today. Sign up for my mailing list, get my guided meditations, my inner work processes, and just do something as simple as take your hand and place it over your heart and drop in. Take a deep breath and drop inside. That's all you need. All you need is your breath. All you need is your intention. And we will create a more conscious and more present and more loving world. So please help me spread the love and light so that more and more people are awake, aware, and aligned in their lives. Thank you so much for joining me at the Soul Currency Live. Next week, Monday, I am going to be broadcasting. I will have just landed from Germany in Seattle, and I'm going to be sharing with you about my journey doing deep inner work in here with my teachers, Kabir and Ritama, and going into another advanced training on healing the inner child and all of the yummy stuff that happens in the belly chakra. So I'll be sharing that next Monday. Make sure to join me live on Facebook. And stay tuned, especially on Instagram. I love Insta stories, and so I'm always posting there. And I will be sharing my journey over the next week on Instagram. So find me on Instagram at Heather Fantin. All right, you guys, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful start to your week. And I will see you next Monday. All right, bye.